The worst part about this book was that the spine had been glued down. Somebody ran glue down the spine and then
Ooh.
shut the book. And the glue, I don't know what they used, but it was just really acidic. And so it has, kind of destroyed this original spine.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rare Book Cafe, the book lovers rendezvous. First of all, my co-host Linn. Lee, what number show is this? Do we have episode numbers?
We do. This is probably 60, high 60s,
Whew,
I think.
we're getting up next to my age.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is.
And I'd like to welcome one of our favorite guests because she enlightens us on every time she's on the show. She's an important part of the bibliosphere. Sophia Bogle. Sophia.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, last time we saw you, you were working on a Wizard of Oz, I think, right?
Yeah. That one took over 25 hours to finish.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram or YouTube somewhere that you did finish it, though. It looked great.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I think what I'm most proud of about that book is that while it looks better, it still looks old and well loved. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to look shiny and new or something. So
Well, listen, I know you've already given the book back to its owner, but send Alan a couple pictures so that the people can see the before and the after.
I will do that. Yeah. That was a big project.
So what's next on your list?
Well, oddly, or maybe not oddly, I have another Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
Yeah, I believe you
Um,
had mentioned that the last time you were on.
yes,
Had two.
All
yeah,
from the same owner?
it's from the same owner. Yeah, and this
Oh,
is the better copy. It's a lot more, there's a lot less work to do. I had to completely re-sew that other book, and
right.
there were a lot of repairs to do.
All right, Sophia, let's take a look at this other Wizard of Oz you brought in.
All right. So as you can see, I've got the boards. They're separated already. I've just bound that part of it and started working on lifting the end papers
Mm-hmm.
and trying to preserve as much of this illustration, which annoyingly goes just over the edge. It's like you don't want to just clean that off. You want to save as much as you can, for
Sure.
any original. It's just a nicety that I try and do.
So what are you gonna put some Japanese paper down the gutter?
Yes, I'll have to get behind this and put some, I'll probably just use a little bit of hinging tissue right here for that. Hinging tissue is just really thin kozo tissue. This is a little tiny bit of it I had on my desk.
Okay.
Like my desk is a kind of a mess right now. It's like I finished one book and then I have to really get around to cleaning things up. Anyway, but the worst part about this book was that the spine had been glued down. Somebody ran glue down the spine and then
Ooh.
shut the book. And the glue, I don't know what they used, but it was just really acidic. And so it has, kind of destroyed this original spine. What I've done is I've removed everything that was attached to it that was acidic,
Mm-hmm.
on the back. And I
Mm-hmm.
have an image I can share with you later. I have a photo of that. what that looked like. And then I lined it with this light brown Kozo tissue, because this way it's a nice strong way to keep this together. And then when I reattach it to the new spine, it'll have some strength, and we'll be able to fold and not fold, but like flex with it. And I also I used some deacidification bookkeeper's solution on this.
Whoa,
It's
whoa,
not-
whoa, whoa! Hold on there. Hold on. Deacidification
Oh,
book
yeah.
binder. I'm not familiar. Yeah. What?
Here's
Tell
bookkeeper.
us about that product.
It's a spray. It's a spray. You have to keep it shaken up really well. It's something that helps change the pH balance of what you put it on. And so they
Do you use it on all books, or a certain age of books, or books that are beginning to show some deterioration?
No, this is not a general use item. It's
Okay.
it's really to be used sparingly in situations where you can't wash the item, because that's the way you should deacidify things, is through washing them. But if you washed this, it would destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't do that. So I decided to change the pH of this by using an application of the bookkeepers, and that should help keep it from disintegrating further, because it'll help stop the acid from kind
Got
of
it.
eating
Got
away
it.
at this. So I only do that in kind of serious situations that there's nothing else you can do. You can't stick this in a bucket of water. It's really probably maybe I'm thinking if you're in a conservation lab and you have access to all of those tools and chemicals and equipment, there you could do something different.
Sure.
But I'm not in that situation. This is what I did. It's going to help preserve it, and then I'll be able to reattach it to the book. So
Lee, there's so much going on behind the scenes that we never know
I
about.
know it. And that we were advised one time to use the deacidification spray on an entire book that had extensive foxing. That may not have been good. I don't know whether that was good advice or not. It was an expensive thing to do,
yeah.
and took a long time.
Yeah, and one of the things that conservators are saying now is that when you do use these deacidification spray things, it can cause a color change to the item later and make it turn more orange,
Hmm.
which so in this case isn't going to make a huge difference because it's already really
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
The color is not good. So I was like, it'll keep it from disintegrating. So that was what I was like, yes, that's good. So yeah, I really only use that in, just kind of the most dire of circumstances.
Now,
And
Sophia, when I was watching the video, I think it was on YouTube, of you working on the last Wizard of Oz, I saw you were doing some painting.
oh
Were you
yeah,
doing tell us about when you have to touch up, but that's not on cloth. You were painting on cloth. Was that right?
sure. Yeah. And I
Are you
did,
painting the cloth, or are you painting the cardboard backing that might come through at the corners?
oh, no, I'll be painting the cloth usually. And I
Really?
think it's kind of funny that I've discovered, I feel like, conservators avoid using the word painting. They'll
Okay.
use, color touch up or adjusting the, I don't know. Anyway, no, we're actually,
The hue, the tint, and the contrast.
yeah, we are using literally acrylic paints and watering them down and matching them and all of those good things. Here's, some examples. Here's a green that I matched to a book that I finished.
And it's
Actually,
acrylic, not watercolor. It's acrylic.
yeah, actually, I feel like acrylics make more sense. And there's actually an article written by conservators about acrylics being perfectly acceptable to use. They are kind of, light fast, and they're kind of a plastic, right? So what you're applying is kind of a plastic, whereas when you're doing the watercolor thing, it's more fugitive and it could wash off again. It went on with water, it can come
Right.
off with water.
Sure.
So it's a little more dangerous. So I really do prefer the acrylics.
But how
And
about those cardboard? Would you still use acrylic on those cardboard corners that are popping out?
well, yeah, but what I do is I'll actually apply the acrylics to Japanese tissue and then put that over the corners, because then you're protecting both of that. And
Right.
I mean, there's a whole thing about the corners. You know, before you would do anything to those corners that are bumped, in fact, I was just restoring this Emily of New Moon, which is the one, this is the book that I'm working on every Thursday. Almost every Thursday. Pardon me.
What a disciplined life.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, so I have live book restoration Thursday mornings, most Thursdays on YouTube. And this is the book I've been working on. And look, it's almost done. Emily of New Moon. And the
How
last
many Thursdays has that taken?
this is 13 Thursdays, I think. Because I'll do like a half an hour here, 40
Yeah.
minutes there. And anyway, so I'm getting close to being able to case this in, but I was actually just working on the corners. So I've done these 3 corners.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last thing I did. And in order to do the corner, you really have to cut further into the book cloth. You want to actually expose the corner even more. So I'm like cutting in.
That's pretty brave.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to get in there. It's surgery, you got to fix it to save the patient. And that way you can open up the board a little more, because you absolutely have to get further into,
Okay.
you have to break open the board further than where it wants to bend, because if you don't do that, you're going to have a little corner that goes just like that. So you have to
Lee, you can
point.
Lee, you can relate to this. I feel like I'm watching, Dr. Kildare or Ben Casey or something.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so then now that
Wow.
I've got that open, I can get the paste in there and keep the cloth away from the area you're working on until it's dry, and then put the new little bit of tissue, and I'll paint,
Pre-colored tissue.
pre-color the tissue. I'll color that, like here's my paint I matched. And this is a thing I have not talked about on the Thursdays yet, but what am I going to do with this spine, this original spine, because it has faded. And so if I put it on here, it's going to be very faded looking. And I could take this color, which I matched pretty darn good. This is new, this is old. And I could take this color and I could try to
I like
color.
that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And so yeah, so I could do that. And that's gonna be like, okay, if I'm gonna do that,
Now,
I mean, what can go wrong is I could cover up the stamping.
now, Sophia, once you do these live presentations, where can we go back and find them? Where are they, on YouTube, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Where can we find them?
Save your books on YouTube.
Save your books on YouTube. All right. We're going to go back and check that out. All right, Sophia, always
Okay.
a pleasure to have you on. We're really honored that we got to see it here first, fixing of a corner. And please come back. I personally, I always learn something, and I'm sure our audience does as well.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here. You are such a great host, and I love the Rare Book Cafe.
I have a
Thank you.
question before we leave.
Yes, ma'am.
If, as a bookseller, I'm selling a book that has had any kind of restoration or conservation or whatever, then I assume it is up to me to tell the buyer, this is what has been done to that book.
Yes, of course, it is up to you, because there is no actual record of it, but I'm going to recommend reading my book,
Yeah.
Book Restoration Unveiled, because I talk about all of those ethical things, and I interviewed one of the owners of PBA Galleries
Right.
and book appraisers and book dealers, and I got kind of the lowdown on what they think about book restoration, as well as kind of horror stories of things they've seen and done, and
Like the glue down the spine.
like the glue down
Yeah,
the spine.
I have
Yeah.
seen those.
But being able to tell people what is done is hard to do. And that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, is because I want people to be able to just notice that it's been done. And
Okay.
so
Sure.
I really talk about like how to see that things have been done, so that when you're trying to buy something online, you can look close up at a photo of it and go, oh, there's another line there. What is that extra line doing?
This is ethical part of our business. It absolutely, even if you don't understand what was done, you could at least say some work has been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it gives them a chance to look closer. So yeah, and we won't get into facsimiles and marking all of those things, but yeah, more ethics to be had.
All right. Well, maybe we will next time. And we can get your book at Amazon from your website. Where can we get that your book?
So in order to support local book dealers, you cannot get a physical copy from Amazon. You can get an ebook copy from
Good
Amazon.
for you. Go,
Yes.
girl.
Yeah. So you can get it from Abe Books. Rachel at Burnside Books actually carries this for me and has that, so you can get it from them. Powell's carries copies.
You're going to be at the book fair next weekend?
Oh my gosh, maybe.
This
I'm
week
hoping to.
Okay.
Not this week. Is it this week?
You don't have weekend after next, I think. You don't have a
Okay.
booth though.
I don't have a booth. I'm too busy for that right now. But
Good for you.
yeah, actually, I'm just about to start offering certificate courses in book repair.
Ooh.
So stay tuned for that. Get on my newsletter
Yes.
if you want to find out more. So I'll contact you again after I actually have that launched, but I'm working really hard behind the scenes to get
Well,
that.
I'm going to take a class at the Bennett School in Boston in a couple of
Oh,
weeks.
in person is best.
Yeah, when you
Absolutely.
can.
Go in
Yeah.
person when you can.
But I'll still sign up for your classes. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks for joining in with one of our favorite guests, Sophia Bogle, SaveYourBooks.com. Bye-bye, Lee. We'll see you next show.